Welcome to Well Rounded Momma's YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about, is my baby getting enough? My name is Tiffanie and I'm one of the midwives here at Well Rounded Momma.
I'm Rory and I am primarily our lactation counselor down here.
So today we are going to be talking about breastfeeding stuff, and that's why I have Rory here with me. I used to do a lot of breastfeeding stuff, but now I kind of just defer to her because I'm a midwife. So today we're going to talk about a few things with breastfeeding.
Right, this is, I think, one of the biggest questions that we get, especially in these first few weeks of life, is because you're super concerned, right? You just had this brand new little baby and you want to make sure that they are really getting enough to eat, right? That's kind of our primary job, especially for breastfeeding exclusively. Our baby's stomach, when they come out, is really, really tiny. It's like the size of
a marble.
Right, exactly. It's really, really
very
small.
tiny.
So they don't need a whole lot of food. They just need to eat very frequently. So we want to make sure that we're really feeding our baby every hour and a half to 3 hours on average. It's for most babies. As our milk shifts over from being primary colostrum over to being our kind of more mature milk, we're going to see that it increases, and kind of corresponding with that, we're going to see some changes in baby to make sure that we know they're getting enough. So we're going to notice that, right, that their stomach is going to increase every feeding, and that means that their output is then also going to increase. So as far as how much they're taking in, right at the beginning, it's about that marble size, but really quickly it's going to shift up to being closer to like a small strawberry amount that they're going to be taking in, right? And then pretty quickly it'll shift to about the size of a small egg. Right? And that's just over the period as your milk is starting to increase and come in. We want to start to hear them swallowing more at the breast, right? That we can hear them actually gulping and swallowing, that they're getting enough. And then we're going to look at how much is coming out, right? So what goes in must come out. So yes. On that very first day of life, that first 24 hours, we're really only looking for one diaper. It's just one wet and poopy diaper. If they have more than that, that's totally fine.
And some babies do. Some babies will poop out all their
they
meconium in that first 24 hours.
Absolutely. We want to see just that one diaper, but then in the second 24 hours, because your milk is increasing slowly but surely, we want to see 2 diapers, right? So 1 or 2 bowel movements, and then at least an additional wet diaper on top of that. In the third 24 hours, it's going to be generally 3, at least 1 bowel movement, and then 2 to 3 more wet diapers. By the 4th day, it's going to be at least 1 bowel movement, and then another additional 3 or 4 wet diapers. And then by the 5th day, really we should be seeing consistently at least 5 to 8 wet diapers and at least 1 good bowel movement. Now some babies will give us 1 large diaper and others will give us lots of smaller ones, but we just want to make sure that what's going in is coming out.
50-cent piece size is countable, right?
Yes, as long as we're getting like a quarter size for sure. So then if we are having to supplement, if we're having to give additional milk in a bottle, then we might be looking at actually how much they're taking in. And then in that first day of life, it's really like 15 mLs. It's like less than half an ounce. It's very small amount each day, but that's going to slowly increase. And by the time we get to a couple weeks, we're looking at closer to like 1.5 ounces, right? Maybe somewhere between like 30 and 60 mLs. And then some things that you should really look out for. First, if we're not seeing those diapers, right. If we're finding that our baby is eating for less than 10 minutes on the breast, or more than 40 minutes. Usually when I see a baby on either of those extremes, that's when I start to go, is this baby really transferring?
Getting enough,
And I think that's the biggest sign, right? If we have a baby that's super, super lethargic, that we're just really having a hard time even getting them to wake up to eat, right? If we're just not getting diapers, or just like us, when we get dehydrated, right?
We don't want to eat or we don't want to drink.
Our urine starts to get really dark. Babies are the same way. Their urine starts to get dark as well. So if you're kind of looking and you're like, this diaper just doesn't look like it's enough, or we're not getting any bowel movements, or your baby's super sleepy, it's normal for babies to lose a little weight, but if we're not seeing them back to birth weight by a couple weeks, then we start to kind of just investigate a little bit more and say, hey, what might be going on?
And that doesn't mean like that it can't change and your supply can't go up or anything like that. I know that can be really discouraging for moms. I have one of my daughters actually is still pumping and having to bottle feed, and she's trying to put baby to the breast as much, but he just gets really tired, and he was premature, so it just takes time, and just really having to have patience with yourself and with your baby is really important.
And of course, always, like, if you have questions, reach out
Talk
to
to
your
your
care
provider. Yeah. If you're worried about your baby, definitely reach out to your provider. Definitely reach out to your pediatrician. It is normal for your baby to kind of have bumps in the road, and you to have bumps in the road too with breastfeeding. Sometimes it's smooth sailing and sometimes it's not. That doesn't mean you're a bad mom. You're doing a good job, and that's really the important thing at the end of the day, is to know that you are doing enough.
And really, like, lean on your community, whoever that may be, right? If that's your support people at home, if that's your care providers, right? We all are in this to see you survive and come through it.
Yes. And thrive. And be
thrive,
happy.
for sure.
You know, and enjoy it. I think sometimes that is missed, that we need to really be enjoying this time with our baby. And if you don't want to breastfeed, that's okay too. There's not a right or wrong with this. It's really up to your preference. But if you have any questions, drop them down below and we will answer them. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please hit like and subscribe and ring the bell. And we look forward to hearing from you guys and your questions, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Sorry, you're gonna have to fix that. Somebody called on my phone. You have to put those together.
That's right.
Work some magic if you have these concerns about your baby.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Swear to God. Why?